我是社交光谱莱特，那么我们继续蓝图解码 2.0 之旅。这节课呢讲了什么呢？就是在演讲、社交和生活中如何通过释放而非控制来去释放激发我们的一个潜能，去接触更高的力量。我们大多数人都习惯于通过控制来应对生活中的挑战，就像不停的去收缩肌肉，试图通过更多的努力和紧张来达成目标。但事实上过度的控制会让人适得其反，会让我们这个身心处于一种紧张、疲惫、创造力匮乏的一个状态。看到我们在社会上多少人是沉浸在自己的手机里面，使得他们无法专注于任何的事情，无法去完成任何的事情。基本上这些人就像一个机器人一样，被告知该怎么做他需要别人告诉他应该做什么。其实他们已经丧失了正确的一种思考能力。这种状态呢，不仅仅影响我们的表达，还有人和人的互动交往，也限制了我们在事业和生活中去发挥自己的潜力。好的，那我们正式进入接下来的一个课程。
We're going to go and exercise. I can see in the pupil, right in the eye, the extent to where your brain's neurochemistry is. I know right in the eye. Okay? I see it within seconds. The reason why, there's been studies on this. Who's ever heard of Robert Sapolsky? Is that his name? He was a researcher in Berkeley. Okay? So Robert Sapolsky, he did blood tests on baboons. And the low status baboons would have higher cortisol and adrenaline, and they get sick more. I don't get sick. There's a change in my body chemistry, okay? So understand that your body chemistry is going to change as you become a leader, okay? And you'll think more easily. It'll be easier to lock in and focus. Like when you're around someone that has this, their degree of focus is borderline creepy. They can focus on things for hours. Look at what we see in society. Everybody's retreating in their phone. They can't focus on anything. They can't get anything done. They're basically just being told what to do like a robot. They need someone to tell them what to do. They can't think straight. I see it all. I give a hard time to my camera team all the time. They'll kind of get in this kind of mode where they're just listening to me. I'm like, be creative, initiate something. Initiate a cool shot and try something different. The main thing I think in my mind all the time as a leader is just what else? I just go, what else, 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 what else? And I loop on that all day. It's called lateral thinking. It allows you to be very creative and in the moment and find solutions quickly, okay? So that's the vocal stuff that we covered. And yesterday, again, like we said, we separate the vocal tone from the content. Likewise, we have the different vocal cadence that we worked on. We have the different projection that we worked on. What were some other ones that we did yesterday? Remind me? Oh, yeah. Merging your energy into the voice, right? Merge into the word. Bringing yourself into it in presence. What were some other exercises we did yesterday?
Stretch it out.
Yes, that's right. The different representations of a word, right? Remember? Lollipop, 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 right? With all the different variations in cadence. So basically what we have is we have it to where you can put energy in what you're saying, you can bring conviction in what you're saying, you can use dominant vocal tones or whatever vocal tone you want, you can use different pitch, different cadence, and put all of yourself into it to be electric. And we focused on congruence yesterday as well. Okay, so do you guys remember those lessons? I'm gonna bring you to the front and have you do that and show you where you're messing it up, okay? But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna break into the next exercise, which is very key, and this is really in some ways the key to everything, and here's what it is. Okay, I also learned this from my socializing days, okay? Here's what it is. Let's say that I'm talking to somebody who I might wanna date, and as I'm talking to them, what's gonna happen is I'm talking, and some other guy comes up, right, and is talking to the same person I'd want to talk to. If that guy is trying a little bit too hard, he's just trying a little bit too hard, and I don't care, the person that I'm talking to will roll their eyes, almost like they're being ridiculous, and I just stay loose, and then that person gets vaporized. And this will happen every night you go out, okay? It's like in a rap, do you guys know how rap battle works? Okay, you know like a freestyle rap battle? So what happens is one MC goes up and starts dissing the other MC. Now, part of freestyling is that free associative speaking that we're teaching here, right? So if one battle rapper really gets under his skin and just gets at him, the other guy's winner effect will shut down, and then he has a harder time free associating, and he can't come up with a clever diss. That's rap battling. It even happens in like a breakdancing battle or things like that. Same kind of thing, right? So the guy who's more certain in himself, okay, the person that's more certain in themselves will have it where they're able to stay nice and loose. So let's say that you're talking to somebody who you want to attract in your dating life, and the other person comes up and tries to compete with you. When you say nice and loose, and you're indifferent and chill, and then they lose their cool, they'll shut down and they blow themselves out. It happens all the time. It also means, like, if I can stay like this as a teacher or a guru, when other teachers will diss me online, which happens to me all the time, I just say super loose and chill, keep coming out with great content. I keep banking, and they keep suffering. And they body themselves, in effect. It's happened for years. People have tried for years. Never pulled it off. Never. So what do I know that they don't? Simple. Repeat after me. Control muscle, versus release muscle. Now, a meta level point that I want to make as I show you the exercise for this is that so there's things that I know for a fact, and then there's things that I know subjectively and are more in the realm of opinion. So do you guys mind if I give you an opinion right now? Okay, I actually do believe that there's a battle between good and evil energies in the world going on under the surface. I believe it, okay? Like the Jedi type thing from Star Wars, okay? The light side, the dark side. I believe this. This is just purely speculative, okay? But you give me a week, I'll convince you. But we don't have a week. So what I think happens is that there's dark energies that are controlling people, and their main goal is to make the world fester. They want to do two things. One is they want to put everybody in perpetuity in their control muscle all the time. The other is they want that negativity to build and to fester. Why have we seen an attack on comedy in recent years with political correctness? In my view, it is an evil, dark energy that doesn't want people to tease each other. Because what happens when we tease each other? We laugh, we have fun, we don't take ourselves seriously, we get over ourselves. What is the purpose of teasing? What is it? Is it to hurt someone's feelings and insult them? No. What is the purpose of comedy or teasing? It's to talk about tense subjects that there's tension around that could trigger somebody, make light of it, make it funny, make us take ourselves less seriously, and get over it. Let me give an example. My firstborn son, Vincent, is autistic. Now, when you hear that, do you feel really bad for me? You should, actually. If I heard someone's son is autistic, I'd feel very bad for them. It's very expensive. There's a lot of caretaking. There's a lot involved in that. You should feel bad for me. But here's the thing. You're like, okay. But here's the thing. If you come to me and you go like this, Owen, I know your son Vincent has autism, and I am so sorry. And I want to let you know I will never call him a retard, because I would never. I'm like, oh, I'll feel worse. But what if we just joke about it? What if we have fun with it and joke about it and make it where when I see Vincent flapping his arms around, I start laughing? That's how I get over it. But yet in today's society, they want to stop that kind of thing. Why? I believe, in my view, it's an evil energy that wants to get so much pent-up tension that it explodes and people harm each other. That's why they don't want people to tease and to have fun. They want to separate us. That's what it is. Joking and teasing is meant to make us have more fun and to laugh. So they take the most sensitive groups and they make it where you can never tease them or never joke them. You're always on eggshells around them. And then what they do is they make it where, because you can't joke, they feel weird, you feel weird, and you never come together. If you want to bring people together, you use teasing, you use fun, and here's why. It comes back to what I said, control versus release. Teasing, what is teasing? Is it in the control muscle or the release muscle? Release. What is being triggered? When you're trigger warning, what is being triggered? Control. What is that? You're trying to be in control. No, my son's autistic. Oh, I'm mad about it. I can't handle it. I can't change it. No, you made fun of me. Silence him. He made fun. Silence him. Okay? Die psyche. Right? Is it now, if I silence him, well, what is that going to do? Is that going to make it where I can't, is that going to fix my problem? Is being more in control and just controlling everything? Is that going to fix it? No. this is what the release muscle is for. Now, again, getting into the subjective, which I can't prove, but I believe, what I'd also say is that in release, we access a higher power. And in that higher power, many of these things resolve themselves. Like, I'm going bald. So that would be bad because it means I could never meet a girl, right? I'm never going to meet a girl because I'm going bald. No girl will ever like me. Now, I can try to like somehow go crazy over it and hide it and all that kind of stuff, and it's still going to be a problem. Or I could not care. As soon as I don't care, you know what's weird? The problem goes away. Little weird, right? The problem doesn't matter. Look, there's two types of short guys. There's short guys that care that they're short, and that's called a creepy short guy. Then there's short guys that don't care. Look at Jeff, he's 5'7", dates incredible women. He doesn't care. Is Jeff a short guy? Well, he's short, but he's not a short guy. Why? What's the reason? He's in release about it. He's in release to that. That's it. Elliot Hall is 5'8". You think of him as 6'4". I think I'm slightly taller than Elliot. I mean, that's weird. I thought he'd be 9 feet tall. So when you don't care, it doesn't matter. Like, look what happened to Julian in the media. If Julian cares about that, then he's a victim. If he doesn't care, he goes on with his life, it's a non-issue. So it just depends whether you care or you don't care. I mean, look at the book The Game. You guys ever read the book The Game by Neil Strauss? I mean, could you see a reality where if you had a book that sold millions of copies, ripping you to shreds, you'd never want to leave your house again? Now, what if I had tried to control that, and then I stayed in my house all the time, and then you saw me 10 years later, I kind of come out of my house, and I'm all weird about it. You're like, oh, that's that guy in The Game. He got a bad rap. Weird. But what if I don't care at all? You know what's weird about that? If I don't care at all, nobody else cares. In fact, if I don't care at all, and you watch my videos, you probably look at that portrayal and you're like, what was that about? That's weird. That's all you're thinking. So it's release versus control. That's why when you're meeting somebody, if you're talking to them and you're in release, but that other person comes up to compete with you and they're in control, they will never win from that paradigm. What you're doing is when you go into release, you're tapping into a higher power. Now again, last thing on speculation, and then we're going to lay into this. Some people in religion or spiritual ideas would say that releasing is a surrender to a higher power. So when you're in control, that implies separation, right? Say you talk about Satan as an example, okay, as a archetype. What is Satan's big thing that he has? Again, this is just speculation. I'm not teaching a religious belief here. Just speculate. I'd like to teach you to think about these things in your own way. So rather than thinking about it in the way I teach, why don't you just like look at this as an example of some creative thinking and then make your own opinion on it would be my suggestion. Don't listen just to me. What is it that Satan, what separated him from the kingdom of God? What is it? I'm not even a Christian, by the way, but what separated him? He wanted to be like God. He wanted to be special, right? He wanted to be about himself. So that need to be special, that need is in the control muscles. Now notice that the further that we need to be special and better and superior, the more that we're going into that dark, dense energy, the control muscle, right? Versus when we surrender to God and we just let it move through us, now what happens is you're naturally going to want to be friendly. You're naturally going to want to help people. You're naturally going to want to add value. You're naturally going to want to be ethical and moral. You're not going to need to be taught like a sheep, don't steal. When you're in a state of release and surrender, the last thing you want to do is go punch somebody or hurt somebody or steal something. So that need to be kind of tyrannical to control the people. It's like you put them in control muscle, then you pump down their sense of status through comparison, then you boss them around and tell them what to do. They can't think straight, and the whole system's a mess. A mess. And life just passes them by in this derp state, while society has 5% of its intellectual capital and energy being accessed, and that's why we're in a scarcity. That scarcity mindset alone is half the problem. Crazy stuff, right? This is kind of getting kind of crazy. Okay, so let's get off the crazy. Now, going back to understanding how to operate at an elite level, okay, at a paradigm shift. So right now, most of you can't just come up with things to say off the tip of the tongue. You don't know how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to get you doing it. So right now, your control muscle is so jammed up, it's like you're squeezing your butt and can't take a crap. And you need to take a crap so bad. So if you want to take a crap, how do you do it? You just let go. You let go. Now, the way you do that, as a first exercise, we're going to call this the magic 8-ball exercise. So if I tell you to come up with random words, what you're going to do is you're going to think really hard. You're going to think really hard. We're going to get off that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to release. Now, notice that when I'm speaking, if I want to emphasize a word, I'm going to go extra release. Like if I want to yell to the back of the room, but I do it the way you do it, I will throw my voice out 100%. 100%. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even willing to do what you do. Because if I did, the seminar will end. It's bad, okay? So the more power that I want to put out, the more I have to release. The more creative I want to be, I have to try less. And not try to try less, because that's still trying. That's a mind screw for you there too, right? Okay? Hey, if I do that, I've got to release. I've got to just release. You guys remember yesterday when I did a little dance? You remember that? You remember I did the dance? I was imitating him, did the dance, okay? How do I do that? The way I come up with a random dance for like 5 minutes, and each thing is funny, improvise, is I have to completely let go. And then I'm watching my body doing this. I'm like, this is hella funny. And I'm just watching my body do it, okay? Because in the same way that you can create a dream, you can create a dance. You can create content for social media. You can create marketing pieces. You can create it off the fly. So I'm showing you here creativity on steroids. So the base of this, to understand it, is the magic 8-ball exercise. Now here's what I'm going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to associate different words. And in associating these different words, there's only 2 rules. The first rule, and I'll explain it in more detail, don't worry, you'll get it. The first rule is you cannot associate from the previous word. So you can't say blue, red, green, yellow, purple. My little kid could do that. Anybody could, that's not an exercise, that's a joke, okay? So don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, don't go America, Canada, Mexico, South America, like don't do that. Don't associate out the previous word. If you catch yourself doing it, be aware of it, don't self-attack, and just move on. The next one is don't associate from the environment. Don't go floor, red, purple, speaker, light. Don't do that either. Again, that's what my kid does. Like, oh, he knows what a light is. Okay, don't do that. A kid can do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to completely relax, and you're simply going to let words come to you like a magic 8-ball that you shake and you let it come up. Shake, let it come up. Shake, let it come up. And just let it come up. So I'll do it right now. It's super simple. Bats. Beach. Mountain. Cloud. Opinion. Lightning. Now, I associate there a tad. You'll do the same thing, but if you do, just move off it. Don't go like, wait, restart. Just, you're good, okay? Utah. Like, again, where's that come from? I don't know. Garfield. The speed of sound. Rush. Rock. Now notice in release 2, do you see when I start releasing, do you see my smile muscles compulsively going up? Did you guys notice that too? When you go and release, do you remember Eckhart Tolle, The Power Now? Remember that? Your happiness is your default state. When you go and release, you start getting like euphoric. It's trippy. Yeah, but look what happens in society, guys. You're continually put in control. You're miserable. Then you think you need to reach a certain goal to be happy. You see this? Do you see how toxic the social conditioning is? And by the way, if we all made more money from it, maybe we could justify it. But society's at a loss because of this. And a lot of dark forces are in place right now, meant to hold it here. Pulse. White. Piano. Okay, you see what's happening there? So the reason why, so what I'm doing when I'm public speaking, or doing, say, free tours or videos, and I want to be able to come up with it at a fast rate, is I'll be walking to my shooting location, and my staff will always say the same thing, like, what are you going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know. No, but really, you don't even know? Nope, don't know. You don't know at all? Nope. It'll even be to the point I'm like, stop asking. You're going to wreck it. That's like if you're going to hook up with your girlfriend. She's like, so how are we going to do it today? You're like, we'll figure it out, okay? Like, It's like, well, this way, and this, that's weird. So I might have a general idea at times. Sometimes if I'm really tired, I'll rely on something prepared if I'm just so tired. But it's never as good. So let the mind go into relaxation. Now, moment of meta level understanding of this, but then we'll go back to practical. In release, what you're doing, in my view, is you're tapping into your higher power, okay? Don't take this from me. I would only ask of you to be curious about what I'm saying and verify it in your own life. What I'm saying is, when you go into release and you have trust, certain things change. Here's what they are. One is that your RAS changes. You guys all know what RAS is? Reticular activation system. You need to Google it. Okay. So that's one thing. You have trust, okay? You're going to see things you couldn't normally see. But also, you're going to tap in energetically to where other energies are attracted to you. You're going to shift energetically. Like energy is attracted like energy. If you're in a negative state, you'll tend almost like a magnet to attract these weird pendulums. Have you guys read Reality Transurfing? Do you guys know, have you read that? By Vadim. Luke, have you read that, by the way? That's the #1 book I'd say for you and Tim to read, by the way. The idea of it is, okay, again, it's that weird woo-woo, like kind of half true, like, yeah, okay, solid. Okay, so like, it's like the woo-woo way thinking about a phenomenon, but the idea of it is that we have energetic pendulums. So one person charges the pendulum, and they kind of shoot it over, and then that charges, and they shoot it back. So that's what, like, in my opinion, we're, like, in politics right now, we're seeing, like, what are we seeing in politics? Like, late-term abortion, and then, like, on the left, right, like, some of this is like, whoa. But then at the same time, we see states like, no abortion, right? Like, so you see what's happening, right? It's like this pendulum, right? And it's funny, like, a lot of my female friends in LA, when they had, what's the state with no abortion recently? They made, like, a no abortion thing. Yeah, Alabama. Like, my female friends, a lot of them are, like, starlets, so they're like, full, like, liberal. And they're like, I can't believe this. I can't even sleep at night. I haven't slept in days. I'm crying for these women, right? But then at the same time, look at the right-wing people. They see late-term abortion, which is like, and they're freaking out. Like, they can't even sleep, right? Well, look what's happening. This negative energy. But by the way, all the right-wing people don't get it, that when you just completely attack abortion overall, then the left is going to be like, yay, late term. And then likewise, when you get rid of abortion, they're going to do late term. It's like, I mean, I may not, this again is getting out of my core competency. It's just kind of my little theory because I read a book. I read Reality Transurfing, and that's kind of how he would explain it. But what, did you guys notice in politics, are you guys watching the Democratic debates? Yep. Okay, are you seeing how much is getting, like how Trump got like not ultra right-wing, but he got like, he's very like not politically correct, and now they're getting super politically correct. It's getting polarized. You guys seeing this? There's other reasons this is happening, including the algorithm and many other reasons. But essentially what you're seeing is the building of a pendulum. It's shooting back and forth, and the pendulum is beginning to accelerate, okay? It's beginning to accelerate. So people, what's happening is they're getting an energy, and they're kind of getting swept up in this pendulum, and they're being moved energetically, okay? How do you think you get out of that pendulum? What is the way to get out of the pendulum? Go into your release muscle, okay? Go into your release muscle. What you want to do, you don't want to be getting pulled in these weird negative directions that are combative. Sometimes that's life. Maybe you have to sometimes. But that's not what you want as your default. And instead, you want to transcend it. So when somebody insults you, you want to be at the point where you have such little reaction that they look dumb. Because when somebody insults you, what are they trying to do to you? They're trying to engage you in a pendulum, right? Back in the day when I teach dating, maybe a girl would give you a test, and we would always think of the way to beat the test. In the longer term, what do you think we realized was the best way to beat a test?
Don't acknowledge it.
You're like, cool, and then you just keep talking. Best way to beat a test. It's hilarious. So for the exercise, that's the meta. I want to teach you to tap into your release muscle. So this is a very, very simple way to tap into your release muscle, okay? When you can tap into this and you know when to exercise it, the way that it will be for you is the control muscle is like your paddle, okay? Sometimes you need the control muscle. It's like a paddle. But other times, with the release muscle, it's like your sail. With the sail, what you do is you just throw up the sail, and then that jet stream of wind comes along, And then all you have to do is just move the rudder. So in release, you're still doing something. Just like moving a rudder, you're doing something, but it's a lot less than paddling. But why do we still want to have those control muscles? For the same reason we want to have a paddle. Because sometimes, just because you went in release, the shit ain't going to get handled. Sometimes, you just got to paddle, buddy. It is what it is. So I'll aim to be in my control muscle maybe 25% of the day, and in release maybe 75% of the day, okay? But I'm not so much in release that I'm like Eckhart Tolle looking like sitting on a park bench doing nothing, okay? So, you know, or maybe it's even 50-50, but you get the idea. But here's the problem. Why am I going to emphasize release muscle today and not control? Why? What do you think?
Everyone's in control.
Yeah, you're being overly pounded in the control muscle all the time. You're not even used to releasing, okay? You're not even used to it. By the way, when we do energetic releasing on Sunday, watch what happens when we let go of energy by showing you how to energetically release it. Watch how your perception, like just the way you even see the room changes, the way you see other people changes, how your awareness changes. It is freaky. It is really freaky. But you're going to learn that at a core level this weekend. Let's go now, though, back on public speaking. So what we'll do right now is take a group of, say, 3 people each, okay? 3 each. And each take turns for about 2 minutes. Clear your mind and just let whatever word comes up. And here's the main key. Don't judge it. Don't judge what you're saying. Do I look like I'm judging what I'm saying that much? Don't judge what you're saying. If you're judging it, what are you trying to do? You're trying to control it, okay? So you've got to just get used to just like, because what will happen when you release, here's what's going to happen. As you release, you're going to suddenly get very happy. You're going to feel really peaceful, really good. And things are just going to come to you. You're not going to have to try as hard. It's just going to come to you. But it's going to take a minute. Because you're going to want to control it. All those old habits are still there, right? It's like plane, a volcano, right? You're going to want to do it. So just allow, okay? Say the art of allowing, okay? So you've been in control most of your life. Cool. That's so cool. We're just going to try something different now, okay? So grab your group of 3. Let's do it for about 2-3 minutes each. It'll be about a 10-minute exercise, and then we're going to come back, okay? Let's do it.
其实啊，真正的力量啊是源于释放的。当我们学会放下控制，相信我们的自由流动的时候，其实我们就进入了一种更加轻松、愉快啊、创造性十足的一种状态。这种释放的状态可以让我们接触到更高的力量和能力啊，帮助我们去超越自己的一种局限性啊，活出最好的自己。你们记得课程里说的这个魔术8号球的一个练习没？它就是生动的展示了如何进入释放的一个状态。关键是要放空自己的一个思绪，让我们的联想呢自然浮现，而不是去判断或者是去控制它们。当我们不再执着于特定的结果的时候不再去强求思维按既定的模式去运作的时候，我们的创造力才会得到解放，意想不到的一些灵感就会涌现。其实过度控制带来的危害就是当人们执着于特定的立场，试图将自己的观点强加于别人的时候，往往会引起更多的冲突和对立。就像一个钟摆，它的摆幅越大双方的情绪就越极端，人们就越难以达成理解和共识。假设你正在和一个你想吸引的人交谈此时此刻另外一个人过来试图想跟你去竞争，当你跟这个人交谈的时候很随意，而不用去关心那个过来竞争者的时候你表现的越是沉着冷静，那么那位竞争者呢就会自取其辱。而当我们学会释放不再被外界的评判和情绪所牵引的时候，我们就能够超越这种对立，去化解这种矛盾，然后创造一种双赢的局面。学会释放呢，并不意味着完全放弃控制，就像航行需要帆和桨一样，我们生活中有时候需要主动掌控，而有的时候呢需要顺势而为。关键是我们如何去找到二者的一种平衡，在合适的时机使用合适的方式。当我们放下对结果的执念，去用开放的心态去拥抱自己的时候，我们自然而然就能够激发自己的一个潜能。一个人的觉醒一次真挚的表达，也许就能开启一场连锁的反应，来唤起 更多的自由。觉醒的本质是从思想形式转换为察觉的存在状态。你对结果的执念是什么呢？欢迎大家踊跃思考在群里面进行交流。我是社交光谱莱特更多的精彩内容请关注公众号社交光谱。我期待你们在群里的热烈讨论。那么我们下节课见。